Welcome back, everyone, to another segment of the MCR Mac and Me. My name's TJ. In this segment, we're going to get a little wonky. There's a saying out there: you're known by the company you keep. Well, you're also known by those you watch in the media. I've made references quite often that I'm a Dan Bongino fan and a Charlie Kirk fan too. But lately, I cannot get me enough of Victor Davis Hanson. And if you don't know who Victor Davis Hanson is, you need to start watching this guy. He's referred to as the classicist farmer. I think the Hoover Institute may have given him that name, but classicist farmer. He grew up on a farm that that was founded by, I don't know if it was his great grandfather, but you know he multi-generational. Is that how you call it? A
Yeah.
multi-generational family farm. Okay, so he grew up a farmer. He knows how to farm. And he will also tell you 95% of his farming staff are immigrants primarily from Mexico. Okay.
Right.
He lives in California, which gives him the inside scoop to California politics. But he's a very learned scholar, historically speaking. And he likes to concentrate on the antiquity era. And whenever you hear antiquity, it's most commonly referred to as the historical events prior to the Dark Ages. Okay, Greeks,
When we were
Romans.
kids.
What's that?
When we were kids.
Yeah, Greeks or Romans. Okay, so he's a historical scholar. He's an avid Trump supporter, from what I can ascertain here, and he in an interview, and I've heard him say this more than once. So I guess this is his belief, his feelings. But he has repeatedly referred to Donald Trump as a Jacksonian nationalist populist. And for us laymen out here, less than learned perhaps, what the heck does that mean? Jacksonian, sometimes you hear about Jacksonian democracy, okay? Jacksonian nationalist populist. Well, President Jackson, now we're swerving back into U.S. history here. He was almost like a common man president. He was not.
War hero.
He was a war hero, big time war hero, but he wasn't part of the upper crust elite.
Kind of his Dwight Eisenhower of his day.
Exactly, and I think in some regard, even though Trump is not a war hero, but I think Victor Davis Hanson is kind of drawing comparisons between Jackson and Trump as to actually more in tune with the common man than, say, Bush, Obama, Biden, that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, nationalism, nationalism, U.S. first, almost at any cost. I mean, within moral boundaries, we'll say, but U.S. first, nationalism. And then populism kind of just reiterates the Jacksonian position of the common man, equal application of the law to the common man. The upper crust doesn't get any kind of exemptions. For instance, how many times has Congress enacted laws that they themselves don't have to abide by?
More than we can count. And a most recent example of what you're talking about is no one is above the law. Well, except my family.
Well, and I think because of all the events, especially what we've seen since the inauguration, thus Victor Davis Hanson, what we have in President Trump is a Jacksonian nationalist populist. Okay, DEI, get the hell out, DEI. Trump addresses the World Economic Forum, the Klaus Schwab group. And if you
Yeah.
know anything about that, as I've said occasionally throughout segments, gag me with a splintered wooden soup spoon.
Well, it wouldn't
You know,
break my heart if I heard someone deleted him.
well, basically Trump was telling Klaus Schwab and crew, ain't your way. It's going to be the U.S. way. Like it or leave it. And I mean, and I'm paraphrasing, okay, so that is not a direct quote, but it's a close enough paraphrase, I do believe.
We get the
Okay.
message.
Like I said, DEI get bent. The elite, going back to the Jacksonian populism, okay, the elite, and you mentioned it with how they say the Democrats say no one is above the law, when in fact the Democrats are above the law. Let's go back to when we had the Pete Hegseth confirmation hearings, and Mark Wayne Mullen was referencing how the Democrats were besmirching Hegseth's character, and Mark Wayne Mullen had to take him to task and say, "Oh, but you forget about Bill Clinton this or Biden that." He goes, "But that's okay. They were a Democrat." Okay.
Well, not just that, but let me bring up the fact that they paid $18 million out for their own cheat on their wife and get rid of the drunk driving charges and all of those things. They had a slush fund for that. So while they sit there and complain that, oh, Pete Hegseth paid this woman $50,000 to go away, they do exactly the same thing. Only difference is we know what Pete Hegseth did. We don't know what they did. And Marjorie Taylor Greene threatened to blow that up. Well, I wish she would.
I wish, yes, I really wish she would have. But coming back to Victor Davis Hanson, I cannot get enough of this guy. I probably watch him more than anyone else on YouTube. He's got one channel where it's called the Daily Signal. He's also got the Victor Davis Hanson Show, and then the Hoover Institution likes to interview him. Well, they'll interview a whole lot of people, but I know the Hoover Institution has a lengthy video on him where they interview him.
I liken him to a lower pitched Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
Common sense approach to everything.
Well, let's just swerve back into what the Hoover Institute calls him, the classicist farmer.
Right.
Just an average guy with exceptional learning. And he takes historical events, breaks them down, and then kind of compares it to our situation today.
Right.
And I just really I'll keep talking how I can't get enough of the guy, but I don't know if anyone would feel the same. But hey, you know what? This channel's all about our thoughts and feelings, and I'm just sharing my thoughts.
I have to say there aren't any guys I can't get enough of, but there are some women I couldn't get enough of.
All right. Okay. Well,
my wife is who I mean, of course.
Before we swerve into complete decadence. All right. That's all I have. Any final thoughts there, Mac?
No, that's about it for me.
All right. Okay. Like I said, a little bit different one here. We'll catch you on the next segment. Thanks everyone for your support. As always, be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.